So we are going to do a little video today and talk about our self-love journeys and how self-love has changed our lives, basically. Because we put up a little Q&A, and one of the questions was like, why do you do what you do, and like how has self-love impacted your life, basically.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my god, there's too much to say to put it into like one written response or like one short video.
Like on a story.
Exactly. So we were like, we're gonna have to do a whole video for it. So we have no structure whatsoever for this. We're just gonna chat.
We've not planned anything.
But yeah, I think one of the things that I would start off by saying is just like self-love genuinely impacts like every single aspect of your life.
Everything. And you don't even know that until you start practicing it.
Yeah. So I don't know whether, do you want to go into like individual journeys?
Shall we just talk and see what comes out?
Okay. Yeah.
One thing that came to mind when you was talking
go for it.
was I really noticed self-love has helped me with friendships as well, and just girls in general. Like, it made me realise how low my self-worth probably was growing up, even though I would probably be deemed as someone quite confident externally, but internally I think is where most of the work happens. Do you agree? Like, we can all have a certain persona or be confident at certain things, but internally if you have little battles with yourself or with other people without even being conscious of it, it impacts everything.
Yeah, I think it's friendships, it's relationships, it's like everything. Like any relationship that you have, you can cough. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you on the whole, like, it changes friendships.
Just how you look at women in general, I think. Like
I think when you come from a place of low self-worth,
you
see them. It's comparison and it's
you
competitiveness.
See them as a threat, competitiveness.
Exactly, and it rather than just being like, oh, you know, like they're beautiful and unique as they are, and I am equally as beautiful and unique as I am, and there's no need for it to be like, oh, she's doing better than me, or like, it's even the narrative of when someone when someone breaks up with someone or whatever, and then they get with, like, the guy gets with someone new, and people will be like put the woman down, the new woman,
and be like, well, she's not as good as you.
And it's like, but why is that?
Whatever happened is not even to do with this new woman.
Yeah, exactly. But there's definitely a narrative of people do kind of like go on there.
Attacking the woman. And you know what I find? Something that has like clicked in my head recently is like falling out with women or putting women down is never worth it, because a lot of the time, unfortunately, the man is always a piece of shit. No, but like if you are at a point where you are fighting over a man, I think never worth.
No, it's not worth losing a friendship.
And I'm not saying, you know, like this is only because I've learned things from my own experience, and then it's like the penny drops, and I'm like, oh, like I see it online, or I'll see like similar situations like you just said where people are like, oh, well, she's blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, but actually he's probably the one who's caused this, not her.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to attack the female when there's probably a lot more to it. I'm not saying that all men are a piece of shit, by the way. I'm just saying that a lot of the time you're fighting over a man who's probably just going to do the same thing to you.
Well, he might just not. He might feel torn. He might not know where his head is at, and like that's fine. But is that something that you want to get involved with?
Yeah. Like there's a lot to every scenario.
Yeah.
But if you think of it surface level, like it's never worth dragging another woman down. Like, because coming together is more powerful.
I think just going back to the original like friendship piece, I think I used to have a lot of friendships that probably weren't completely aligned, but I didn't necessarily like know how amazing friendships could be.
Yeah.
Like I had really close friends who like I got on really well with and like had like loads of fun, but then I think there was like a few situations where I suddenly kind of like woke up to it, like when I was starting to think about like how do I want to be treated, how do I deserve to be treated, like I started to notice actually like that person has a lot of judgment, and like that doesn't feel like a safe space.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with us, I can bring anything.
Yeah.
And there's like no level of judgment whatsoever.
Yeah, because you're on your own journey, do you know what I mean? I'm just your friend supporting, I'm not anyone to make that harder for you.
Yeah, and the competition piece, I noticed that as well, like just like, you know, maybe you got a new job or something, and like the questions aren't like, oh my god, I'm so happy for you, I'm so excited, like what are you most excited for? It's like, oh, like how much money are you gonna earn, like what's your job title, and it's like what, like it's not a competition, like
and also like none of that even matters.
Exactly. So I think self-love definitely made me look at my friendships and think about what I actually wanted from them, and then I had to let go of friendships, which was super hard.
I kind of think they naturally just fall away.
I know, but I did actually
cling on.
But I had to really
it's hard to
walk away, and I think I would do things differently if I were to go back now. Like I would have difficult conversations, but at the time I started learning about self-love and everything, I didn't know how to like articulate myself or like communicate. Like I was still really scared to kind of be honest.
It is scary though, like I still personally get nervous with confrontation.
Oh god, don't we all? Yeah, I'm like,
because it's not nice, and especially if you know that, like, for example, if I was going to bring something to you, I would feel less nervous because I know that how you feel about me genuinely.
Yeah.
And because if I'm coming to you with something, it's from a place of love.
100%, and I would
It's not from a place of jealousy, because I would check myself first.
Yes.
Whereas if it's people who you're not necessarily aligned with, or I don't know, just past situations, it would feel more confronting because you don't know what you're going to get. And that's the scary part of it, isn't it? And I think...
Yeah, it's what's that person's reaction going to be. And you can never control their reaction.
You can never control anyone. You have to say what's your truth.
Yeah.
And you just have to let people
I
also say what's theirs.
Exactly. And you can obsess over trying to say it in the kindest way possible, but like people are always going to read it from their own like situation, their own experiences, and like no matter what you do, that's always going to be the case.
There's never a right or wrong. Like it's literally, you've just got to be honest with yourself. And like true to who you are though as well. Like I would never go in at someone to hurt their feelings.
No, like every time, like I'm always just at a place of like I'm really hurting and like I really need your help. Basically, I'm much more of a like crier than like an angry person. I'm like
crying, shaking the whole time. No, but that definitely friendships. Like I think as well, it just makes you more aware throughout life. Like, no, I don't think I'm going to spend more time with that person. Because people come in and out of your life, and I think you know, you might get a new job, and you might there might be loads of new people at your new job, and they might want to befriend you. But you might just be more aware of the fact that I don't really want to spend more time with you because I do like you at work, but I don't think we're on the same.
100%.
Like they're not going to improve your life.
Yeah. I get that.
Or maybe
also, you only have a certain capacity for like friends.
God,
like I don't have the space.
I don't have the capacity for myself.
I don't have the capacity for anyone else because all I do is talk to you.
Honestly though, like when you think about it, you've got all your problems and all your friends.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't take on your problems. Like I feel them and I want to support you, but that's where I come from. I'm like, what can I do?
Still, that's still enough. Like,
oh god, yeah. You don't. Well, I don't need you to take on my problems, and you don't need me to take on your problems. It's like we can work through things together and like feel like a team more than like, oh my god, I'm in this totally alone.
This is another point, and then we will move on from the friends. But like, if someone's having a bad day, and then like something happens, and actually you're having a bad day too, we can quite easily like bat the ball, you know, like like screaming. But like literally some people get annoyed at that, like as if to be like, why are you making it about you? And it's like, oh no, I'm just human as well, and this is actually happening. Or like if they're going through something bad and you're having a good day, then they can't be happy for you because they're so invested in their...
Yeah, I think we have a good balance of like, when we're both, like sometimes we're both on fire, we're having a great day, sometimes one of us is having a shit day and the other one can help bring it up.
Hilarious.
Sometimes we're both having a shit day, like it's like we hilarious. Just always manage to at least bring the level
because
up.
One day we could be like borderline depressed.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, good
morning! Like life is amazing!
It's honestly not okay. Being a female is really hard.
I know. On that, should we move on to like relationships, like so more like romantic dating? Because I feel like that feeds in nicely.
Yeah.
So I mean, where do I even begin? So when I first kind of got into self-love, I was in like a toxic relationship. It was just it did not bring me joy, but it was that whole like, they are the cause of my pain, but also the like relief. And that is so hard to walk away from. So I feel like that was kind of where I was at originally, and then I just started getting stronger in myself through like self-love, through practicing and like thinking about what I actually wanted, like realizing what I could deserve, and being kinder to myself. I think I kind of started to realize he's not actually that nice to me, which sounds really brutal, but yeah.
We get used to it. You get used to it, not niceness.
Like, and I think also there's
normalise it.
Yeah, and society really has this narrative of like, oh, it's banter. Like, I want someone who I can roast, and I'm like, well, actually, that's just really mean. Like, if I tell you that I don't like you saying something because actually it really hits the nerve of a past situation that I've been in or whatever. Like, the fact that you continue to do that is not okay, and that's not love.
That's disrespectful.
Exactly.
Like, there is banter, but everyone has their own different level of banter.
Exactly.
But yeah, some of it is just like rude as fuck.
It is. So
and derogatory.
For sure. So I think like leaving toxic relationship, obviously like that is a big part of like you really stand in your power, I think. And you're like, you know, you stand for the fact that you deserve
as
more.
Scary as it is, it's also like a release.
Yeah, it's like a whole combination
because it's
of
like
everything.
your soul knows the whole time it's not right, but you convince yourself it's okay.
100%. So I think, yeah, but how else has it changed relationships wise? I guess just I know my needs, and before I think I would think my needs were maybe too much, like someone has told me they're too much, you expect too much or whatever, whereas now like I have that baseline level of self-worth and self-love. I'm like, well, actually I know that this is what I deserve, like sorry, this is like a non-negotiable for me, and I don't have any like shame attached to that, and I don't feel like I'm asking too much because I just know that categorically like that is what I deserve, and
like stand by your word.
Exactly.
Like even like being single and like dating or whatever, like some people would still say that we're asking for too much for people to just be consistent. And that is wild. That is wild. I'm asking you to just be consistent, honest, and what else did I say?
When consistent, honest.
But like it's literally like basic communication.
100%.
Like if me and you were like that, consistent, we wouldn't have a friendship.
No.
So it's like, well, how are you having any relationship with anyone?
Excuse me. Hello.
Just went good. Sorry, I was just busy for 48 hours.
So yeah, and I think dating, one of the things, so I think I date from a totally different space now. I in the past used to like be like, oh my god, I really get on with this person, and like that was enough. And that's why I got into relationships, and then I was like, fuck, I actually, like, this is not going to go the long haul. Whereas I feel like now I'm very much like, okay, I'm clear with what I want, what, like, my values are, and therefore what the values are that, like, kind of I need in someone else. So then I feel like I'm dating from a whole different space, rather than just like, oh, I enjoy their company and we get on. And I think I also, although I heard, you know, people say, like, the whole, like, you attract what you are, or like your level of self-worth. I disagree with the you attract, because I think like I have still attracted situations that are not healthy or like are not like gonna be true love sort of thing.
But do you not just think that's because it's to highlight whatever you need to like figure out.
So I think you can attract it still, but it's
you're
what
meant
you
to say no. You're meant to stick to your words.
That's the thing. So it's what you keep. So it's not like you'll still attract toxic
You'll
people,
attract everyone.
But if you are at a level of like self-love, then you won't keep them for long. Like you will be like, okay, cool. Like actually, this is not working for me. And I have definitely experienced that in the past like year. I've had situations where like I've kind of been trying to work out if it's going to be a thing or not, but it's really not been in the right circumstances, so haven't known. But I was like, actually the circumstances themselves are a reason to walk away. Or I've been like, do you know what, I actually really got on with this person, we're super aligned, but you don't show up in X way,
and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's nobody's fault, but like that's just
it doesn't always need to be a big reason. And I do feel like people do just find a good person and stay.
Yeah,
and it's like, but that isn't always enough. Like there's so much more like to experience.
100%.
And it's just like safe.
Yeah,
and we're kind of taught to just do that and be safe and just settle down.
Yeah, 100%.
Settle down. I don't want it.
No, I don't want to settle.
No, but I would say on the back of that I was saying this to you the other day. For like the first year of being single, I really protected myself and stayed away from everyone and was like, nope. And then it kind of left me really naive going into the dating world, because when you've only spoke to like one person or whatever, like in that way for a long time, to then go out into the wild,
it's fucking wild,
and have it's so like overwhelming.
Yeah,
and I think it's just you have to just go and do it and experience it. But I definitely healed on my own, but then going out and dating men and being around men triggered parts of me that probably I hadn't healed because I'd not been around men. So then like I'd been around, you know what I mean, I'd been around men, but not like
and I think that's another
romantically
thing, self-love wise, handling the rejection of dating, because you
I
are going to get rejected in dating 100%,
and
that is no determining factor on your worth.
But when you've been like 21 and being rejected was tough, and then you've been in a long relationship for like most of your 20s or your whole 20s, and then you come out of it and you don't speak to anyone in that way, and then you go back into it and then you start getting rejected, it's like you're almost back at being 21 and you're sort of like, do you know what I mean? And it hurts to say, because you've not built up that sort of like awareness of it or like understanding of it. And I think that's something that I have definitely had to go through over the last 8 months.
100%.
Like, and also like recognising the self-worth thing and knowing when to walk away.
Yeah,
I've not really known that, and because again I just think I've been a bit like, it's easy to fall back into old patterns
for sure
when you're first time going out into it as this new person. Do you know what I mean? Not new person, but like new self.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like over the last month or so, like a bit of a different penny has dropped. I'm onto a new experience of dating. I'm probably still being a bit like blasé with it, but I find it's all so difficult. Like,
it's all an experience, I think.
Yeah. I think as well, like things come when they're meant to trigger you, to learn from it.
Yeah, you can do so much healing by yourself, but when you go out and date, like
there's no point just hiding it.
It's going to trigger you, and it's going to bring things.
You're going to be triggered no matter what. Yeah,
exactly. Like
because then you know what needs to be sorted. But I'm on dating apps now.
She is. We are.
That's tragic. Oh no, it's not. It's pretty fun.
It's interesting.
It's overwhelming, but it's
so many people.
There's moments of funness, and I've taken some people away from the app.
What do you mean you've taken some people?
Like
you're
numbers
texting.
and things. Yeah.
Exciting. See what happens.
So we're going on dates.
We're going on dates. We are going on dates.
We're
I've been on some
dating
really
summer.
nice dates recently.
Yeah, you have.
They were good fun. What's that look for? Okay, so basically, self-love, way better, like more aligned, just
relationships,
friendships, relationships. you can go out and date and you feel so much more confident in yourself, like the rejection feels less.
But also, like, it doesn't mean that it all just works smoothly and perfectly. And like, no, it's still
a journey, but
it's still a journey. You're just more conscious of it.
Yeah.
And you're more aware of yourself, and you're more 100%. Aware of people's actions and how their behaviours. You'll pick up patterns and red flags a lot easier. Doesn't mean you'll be like, oh, red flag, see ya.
Yeah.
But you will eventually, like a lot quicker than what.
100%.
And also, I detach a lot faster now, like from people in general who are like hurtful. I'll feel the hurt, and I'm intense with how I feel pain. But then, I'm easy to like.
Yeah, you're like, you're out.
I'm like,
what? See you later.
Yeah.
I feel like another thing that improves is like learning to kind of stand up for yourself and setting boundaries with people, like getting better at communicating. Yeah. Like before, I really used to have this narrative of like, well, people should know what I want and people should know what I think.
People should just know me.
People would do things that would like irritate me and I'd just leave it, and then obviously like all this resentment just builds up inside of you, and before you know it you're like rah.
I think as well
arguing.
Yeah, and I think as well like a part of it is knowing that whatever people are saying and doing is actually not about you at all. I think that's one of the best things to learn.
Yeah, like it's all about their own internal world.
No, like we're not necessarily a victim to our life. Like we're just like, oh, okay, like that's alright. That's obviously what you're going through, but I'm just gonna remove myself.
Yeah, like that just doesn't work for me.
Like it might hurt still, sting a little bit, but that's why I think it's easier to detach, because you're like, it's actually not about me. It's about your internal. And
you're also just like, when you do have that level of self-love, you're just very, very protective of yourself, I think. Like
it's so protective, especially if you've healed for years.
Yeah, I think you just see things and like I'm so much more like, even if that person does have good intentions, like it's not coming across that way, it doesn't feel that way for me.
Yeah.
And therefore it's not right for me. Like I don't want to put, like, I'm not going to destroy my own peace because this is okay for someone else.
Or to make someone else feel better.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people don't do things intentionally.
No.
Or just, they're just
definitely not.
No, they're just not really aware of how hurtful maybe they can be.
Yeah,
100%. Or just not really conscious of their actions, and I think it's not intentional, but also it doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay around because they're not aware of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they have their own lessons to learn. Like we're all learning continuously, and like that's their path. Doesn't mean you have to stay on it.
Agree.
You got to stay on your own.
1000%.
Wow.
So talking about boundaries, communication, like it's really scary, I think, to say like how you feel with people and to be vulnerable and communicate your needs, but genuinely like that is something that I have started doing, and I think the reward is so much greater. Like the right people will receive it so well, like because people like that love you want you to be happy and they care about you and they don't want to be pissing you off all the time. So like when you just communicate those things and when you come from a space of like vulnerability and like, you know, scary for me to share this or whatever, like people receive it so much better. And I think I definitely learned, you know, if people receive you setting boundaries as like negatively, it's because they're the people who are like benefiting from it. So if it's like, you know, someone looks after your kids, I don't know, like you look after someone else's kids, for example, let's just use that, for like 5 days a week, and then suddenly you start saying, well, actually I don't have the capacity to do that, I can only do it 3 times, they get pissed off. Like a loving friend, maybe they might initially get like some sort of reaction.
What am I gonna do?
But they would come from a place of like totally understand you need to look after yourself too.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. Whereas when it's someone who like it's kind of they are benefiting from you just doing everything for them, then they're more likely to be pissed off or make you feel uncomfortable or whatever.
I think as well, like, sorry, I'm just literally not on the same. Like, I'm just jumping in with any thought that comes to my head.
That's what we're here for.
But I'm now forgotten.
Oh no, it's gone. It'll come back. I have other things to say.
Yeah, go on.
That will help. I think self-love also helped with like, or at least part of the journey has been like body image, but also like learning about my body. So like I would say one part of it is like I had to learn to like I used to have an eating disorder, and I had to learn that my happiness, like, I'm never going to be happy for as long as I'm chasing some body that I'm never going to achieve, because my body can't go that way. Like even if I starve myself, I'm not going to get that figure, because my bones are not built that way. Like, and I don't want to have surgery. And I think I have had to learn to be like, to just love my body for how it is, because I view it now, like what it was before was like, oh, this is a body of, you know, a young girl, like someone who's struggling, like that was the body of like the trauma. Whereas now I'm like, this body represents like happiness and freedom and like just living life.
Yeah.
And like that is so much more attractive and beautiful than like not feeling yourself. Do you know what I mean?
But we were even saying this yesterday, like natural bodies, I personally look at natural bodies and I'm just like I love the belly roll, like, and the thighs and like all that, and I also love the girl who hasn't got that too. But it's fine.
I can appreciate it all.
I can appreciate it all, and like appreciate myself in the same. We all have our moments, don't we? Like,
yeah, like I'm not saying, oh, I'm every day I wake up and I'm like, my body's great, and that's another thing.
Gosh, no, we are actually just girls.
Yeah,
like,
and I think your learning about my cycle, like that really helped my. I mean, just my whole level of understanding of myself and self-love, self-compassion, because I now get it. I'm like, oh, of course I'm in this point of my cycle, so of course I feel on fire, or I'm at this point of my cycle, of course I feel really fucking bloated and like I feel gross. Like, of course I'm really critical of myself at the moment. Of course I feel really down at the moment, like because of where I am in my cycle. And I think
because our cycle's the whole month.
Yeah.
And we're not actually taught that.
No.
We're taught you have a period for a week.
Yeah, no.
And we do. Well, or whatever, like everyone's different, could be 5 days, whatever. But our cycle is actually the whole month, and like you said, there's different parts of the month. So every week something is going on.
Yeah.
So you're not going to feel your best every week, because it's actually not how we're made.
Yeah, agree. And I think that's one of the like amazing things
to learning that is like
just to get in touch with yourself more and be like,
oh,
I understand. Yeah, because it's hard. Like hormones are so fucking influential. Like they really change like so much in your body. And I think, I honestly, a week before my period, probably 2 weeks before my period, I'm like so self-critical. I feel really overwhelmed. Like those, it's almost like the older habits like come up.
Because it's easier because you're in like a bit of a negative space.
So I think self-love has helped with like body image and stuff, just like learning.
Something else about like old habits. So when I was driving down here yesterday, I saw I noticed my brain going to like really old like limiting beliefs of travelling so far alone and like what could happen, and that is because of my upbringing. Like most of my family are like fear based, like you can't do that, and it's like actually I can, and I'm fine, and I had to continuously just repeat to myself like, you're gonna be safe, it's fine.
This has tricked something in my brain too.
So I was just like, it's so easy for things to come back up, but it doesn't mean it's true. It's just your mind's way of being like, remember this. Because for so long that's how you've lived. So then to not live like that, you're still reprogramming.
100%.
And you could still be doing that in like 10 years. You could go somewhere and be like,
it's the whole journey, isn't it? I think that's another big thing about self-love is like you are a lot more willing to put yourself out of your comfort zone. Because you kind of have that relationship with yourself where you're like, you know what, like whatever happens, I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna be fucking scared shitless, but I'm going to do it because I can do it. I've got myself.
I kind of think that's a bit like spiritual side as well.
Yeah, probably.
I believe.
Yeah.
Because like I just think, well, if I'm destined to do this, I will. I know that seems a bit fucking nuts, but I do.
That's a nice.
I think if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I think. To be fair, I think of it like that as well. Do you think that's a bit weird? We think like that.
No, I don't. No,
if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
No, but I just think I could, like, when, like, for example, I've said this a million times to like my mum or whatever, but like, if because she's quite fear-based, so's mum. But she might be like, this is really scary, like, you're doing this on your own. But then I'll be like, if I'm going to die on the train to London, for example, that's going to happen. Yeah. Like, there's literally nothing stopping that. I could have a train crash and survive and be like, well, I'm not meant to die today. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's like walking, you could
I could literally just get
run over near your house.
And I know it's not an easy way to like look at things in a sense of if you lose someone, that's not an easy way to perceive, because you're still going to grieve and feel sad, and I understand that's not easy to be like, well, it was their time to go, see ya, like it's not easy like that, but that's how I look at my own life, and it doesn't mean that I don't feel sadness about it.
Yeah.
It's just how I see things. If I'm meant to do a certain thing, I'll do it.
I like that. You're meant to come and meet me.
If I'm meant to meet you, I will.
Yeah, I feel like those are the main things that I can think of. Just in terms of like, I feel like you have more confidence, you have better friendships, relationships, like dating is less of a like fucking traumatizing experience, still traumatizing but less so. Still traumatizing, like communicating your needs, like setting boundaries with people, like not people pleasing anymore. Yeah. Like all of those things. Yeah. Like it's just all so
but also on the positive side of it, like also just understanding people are humans. Like if they do make mistakes, or if they are thinking, if they can like take accountability, be like, sorry, this is blah blah blah. It's okay, like I'm a mess too. Do you know what I mean? But
we're all human, and I think that,
we're not just like, no, you've made a mistake, bye. Like, no, it's not like that. It's understanding that everyone's just human, but if they're not going to change their behaviour, you are not going to change that person.
No, definitely not. Do not wait for someone,
It's impossible to change a person, impossible.
Agree. They've got to want to change themselves.
Yeah. And I would have killed myself trying to change people over the years to the point where like I didn't even know who I was, and that is sad, and like that is not what we're doing anymore.
No. We're fucking standing in our power, and if you want to meet me there, you can meet me there. If you don't, see you later.
See you later, mate.
See you later.
Oh, but yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've covered a lot of the different aspects of self-love and like little snippets of our own journeys.
I think if there's like anything in particular that you want us to talk about, you just have to like message us.
Yeah, and if it's something where we need to talk about it like in more depth, then we can do a video like this. But if it's, easier things, then we can just do stories or whatever. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. We will be back very soon.
We love doing these videos. So.
We do indeed. How can you not? Right, bye.
Bye.